You know, the Kansas City Chiefs had everyone talking about perfection, undefeated, unstoppable, until the Buffalo Bills showed up and flipped the script. You must have watched it. I mean, it's one thing to lose a close battle, but this loss hit differently. It wasn't just bad luck or a couple of unfortunate plays. No, it felt like the Chiefs got exposed in ways that are hard to ignore. So what's really going on here? What actually happened there? Was this just an off night, or are we starting to see some cracks in the Chiefs' armor? There's a lot to discuss, so let's get into it. What's up, everybody? If you're just finding us, just hit that subscribe button. We are your home for everything AFC West right here on this channel. First of all, let's see what actually went down on the field. The Chiefs didn't just lose this game, they got outplayed in every way that mattered. From the very start, the Bills came out swinging. Josh Allen was on a mission, and you could feel it with every snap. The guy didn't just throw for 262 yards and a touchdown, he also led the team in rushing. That 26-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter, that wasn't just a highlight, it was the dagger. 4th and 2, and Allen just took off like a runaway train, and the Chiefs' defense, they barely even touched him. This was not Mahomes' best night, plain and simple. 2 interceptions, only 196 passing yards. That's not what you expect from one of the league's top quarterbacks. Sure, he had a couple of touchdowns, but when the game was on the line, he couldn't deliver, and it wasn't all on him. The offensive line gave up too much pressure, and the receivers, they weren't doing him any favors either. Mahomes looked off. The Bills' defense had him scrambling more than usual, and it wasn't the kind of scrambling where he makes magic happen. It was the I don't have time to breathe kind. Credit to Buffalo for dialing up the pressure, but man, the Chiefs' offensive line really struggled to hold their ground, and Kelce. He had some moments, but he wasn't the game changer we've seen before. The Bills' defense made sure he didn't get any easy catches, and the rest of the receiving corps didn't step up either. Where was that next man up? You've got guys like Sky Moore and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. This was their chance to make a statement, and it just didn't happen. Then there's the run game, or should I say the lack of it. Isaiah Pacheco had a few solid carries, but let's be real, they didn't lean on him enough. It's like the Chiefs gave up on the ground game before it even started, and that put even more pressure on Mahomes to carry the load. But the real turning point came late in the game. The Chiefs had clawed their way back to make it 23-21, and for a moment, it felt like they might pull off another classic comeback. Then came Allen's touchdown run, and the air just got sucked out of the room. To make it worse, Mahomes' final drive ended with a back-breaking interception by Bills linebacker Terrell Bernard. Game over, but was this game just about what Buffalo did right, or does it reveal something deeper about the Chiefs? Was this just one bad night for the offense, or is this a sign of bigger issues? That's the questions we will explore next. Of course, relying on Mahomes every time to pull a rabbit out of the hat every game, that's not a sustainable strategy, especially against teams like Buffalo who know how to exploit every little mistake. If the offense struggled, the defense wasn't far behind. Actually, they might have been worse. It felt like every time the Bills needed a big play, the Chiefs' defense just handed it to them. And let's be honest, when you've got a quarterback like Josh Allen staring you down, you can't afford to have an off day. But that's exactly what happened. Take that 26-yard touchdown run, for example. 4th and 2, and Allen just takes off. You'd think someone would have been spying on him, but nope. He cut through the defense like it wasn't even there. The Chiefs couldn't bring him down. And then there's the pass rush, or lack of it. Allen had way too much time in the pocket, which is a recipe for disaster. The guy's already dangerous when he's under pressure, but when you let him sit back and pick his targets, forget about it. The Chiefs' front seven just couldn't get to him, and it showed. The secondary didn't do the defense any favors either. Stephon Diggs wasn't exactly quiet, and Gabe Davis had his moments too. The Bills' receivers found space, made catches and turned short gains into big plays. And those missed tackles, painful to watch. How many times did you see a Chiefs defender get a hand on someone only for that guy to keep running? Way too many. But is this a coaching problem, or are the players simply not getting it done? Let's break that down next, because the way this game unfolded raises some serious questions about the game plan. Here's the thing, you can have all the talent in the world, but if the game plan isn't right, it's not going to matter. And against the Bills, it felt like the Chiefs got outcoached in some key areas. That's a tough pill to swallow when you've got Andy Reid on your sideline, one of the best in the business. But let's call it like it is. Buffalo came in with a plan and Kansas City didn't adjust. On offense, the Chiefs were predictable. You could almost see the Bills' defense reading their plays before they happened. Too much reliance on Mahomes to make something out of nothing, and not enough variety to keep Buffalo on their heels. Defensively, it's fair to question what Steve Spagnuolo's game plan was. Josh Allen is a dual-threat quarterback. This isn't new information, so why didn't they have a spy on him? Why didn't they put more pressure to force him into bad throws? Instead, it looked like they were content to let him sit back and pick apart the secondary. And on that 4th and 2 touchdown run, that's on the coaching staff. But here's what's even more frustrating. There didn't seem to be any meaningful adjustments. Good coaching isn't just about the game plan, it's about adapting when things aren't working. Buffalo made tweaks throughout the game and it showed. Kansas City, they stuck to their script, even as the Bills were tearing it apart. This raises a big question. Is the Chiefs coaching staff too reliant on their talent? Are they expecting Mahomes, Kelce and company to bail them out every time? Because that strategy might work against average teams, but when you're up against contenders like Buffalo, it's a different story. Anyway, this could also be a wake-up call. Sometimes a loss like this forces a team to take a hard look in the mirror and make the changes they need to stay on top. The question is, will the Chiefs do that? Or is this the beginning of a slide that fans have been dreading? Let's talk about where they go from here, because the next few weeks could define their season. They're still one of the most talented teams in the league, but this loss and everything that's come with it feels like a fork in the road. Are they going to tighten things up and prove they're still the team to beat, or are these issues going to keep creeping up as the season goes on? The Chiefs have some tough matchups coming up. Teams like the Eagles and Bengals are looming, and they'll be looking to exploit the same weaknesses Buffalo did. That means the Chiefs need to make adjustments and fast. This isn't the time for stubbornness or sticking to what's worked in the past. They need to evolve. On offense, it's clear they can't keep relying on Mahomes to bail them out. The offensive line has to step up, plain and simple. If Mahomes doesn't have time to throw, it doesn't matter how good he is. He can't do it all on his own. And the receivers, someone other than Kelce needs to become a consistent playmaker. Whether it's Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, or even someone like Kadarius Toney, someone has to take the pressure off the stars. The next few games will tell us a lot about this team. Are they still the unstoppable force we've come to expect, or are we watching the beginning of a decline? Either way, the pressure is on. There is something that's got Chiefs fans buzzing, those wildcard playoff tickets. Yeah, this sounds weird, but it's true. For a team that's been sitting at the top of the AFC for years, it's not the kind of news you expect to hear. On paper, it makes sense. They're just planning ahead, right? If they don't end up playing in that round, fans get their money back, no harm done. But that's not how it feels. To the fans, it almost sounds like the organization is hedging its bets, like maybe they're not as confident about locking up that top seed as we thought. And after watching what happened against the Bills, can you blame people for reading into it? Or is this just a trick to confuse the opponents? And now I'll leave it to you. What do you think? Was this just an off night for the Chiefs, or are we seeing the start of a bigger issue? How Chiefs are responding to this loss, and what's their plan for the upcoming battles? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep the conversation going. Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure, this Chiefs team is about to give us plenty to talk about.